Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am basically a late FIRE starter. Okay, so FIRE is financial independence retirement early. Okay, so a lot of people have learned that if you lower your spending and start saving a ton, you can retire early and live independently from any income from jobs, right? It doesn't mean you have to retire and stop working or anything like that. But if you just want to be free, to me, the FIRE movement is all about freedom. Okay, so if you just want to be free from a job you hate or from having to work, if you want to be free to travel, whatever it may be, free from worry really, that's the FIRE movement is really at the core, in my opinion. Okay, majority of FIRE movement people really encourage you to increase your savings rate, which what that means is if all the money you're bringing in, what percentage of that can you save? Most people don't save anything. Very good financial experts say 10% savings rate is great. In the FIRE movement, we want to get up to 50, 60, 70, 80% if we can. Obviously, with housing costs and other things in the way, it's really hard to do, but the goal is to increase your savings rate. The other thing you want to do is to decrease your spending, and concurrently, if you can, increase your income. Well, that's the perfect formula. Add time, okay? Add the time, and you will basically build up your investments over the years with compounding interest and have enough of a nest egg, if you will, to live off of. That requires time. I don't have time. Okay, so my savings rate has always naturally been high. I'm just cheap, okay? That's mostly because my spending has been very low. My income has not been very high, and my investment and time is minimal. Why? Because I'm starting this process in my mid-40s. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and look with you on my actual numbers when I started over time and where I'm at today. Okay, so if you see here, in 2015, I was living in Turkey. Okay, I was living in Turkey teaching English at a university. I had actually bought an apartment in Turkey, but other than that, I didn't have a huge amount of savings. So I did have zero debt though. I've never had any debt really. That's one thing I've done really well, whether it was school debt, car debt, nothing. I've never taken on debt. I'm kind of allergic to debt. On January 1st, or at the end of January 2015, in my checking account, I had $3,586, and I had one property in Turkey. And at this point, I don't think I had any investments. I've done different things in the stock market up and down, but I don't think I had any at this point. What really matters is I know where I'm at now, and when we get to now, going forward, that'll be our starting point. I'll be keeping better records, okay? But I just wanted to let you know how I got here. So in 2016, also zero debt. In January, I had $12,058, okay? I had moved back to California at this point, and I had sold the Turkey place to some friends. So it's basically a rent-to-own sort of situation. So they actually pay me every month, and they will be for years, a certain amount. It's ranged anywhere from $300 to $600, depending on their situation. Right now, they're paying me $300 a month, okay? Also, once again, $0 investments. This was also when I was looking for a place to buy in LA. I had just basically started working random sales jobs, and I was making maybe $40,000 a year if you extrapolated it out. Well, also in 2016, I started working with my new job, which is I'm actually a flight attendant. Okay, so I started that job, and that job sent me to Florida for my first 3 years of working with it, and then now I'm back in LA, which is great. But right before I started that job, I bought a condo in Gardena. So my down payment for the condo was $26,000. That condo I bought for $210,000. So I put down $26,000. It had a tenant in there. I wasn't necessarily planning on becoming a landlord, But the reason I bought the place was because I looked at what the tenant was paying. At the time, it was almost $1,900 a month, and I looked at all my expenses and knew that no matter what happened, I was safe. In other words, if I lost my job, if I couldn't move in, whatever may happen, I could hold on to the place because the rent was covering all the expenses. So I was already naturally thinking like a rental investor, okay? So when you look at the numbers, just my natural cheapness and thinking about worst case scenarios and not wanting to get stuck, once again, that freedom, right? Not wanting to get stuck, I looked at, okay, she's paying this much and my expenses are here, so worst case scenario, I won't lose the place. I can cover the expenses by renting it out. Well, because my job moved me to Florida, I just kept the tenant in there. And the tenant's still in there to this day, and I've increased the rent over time. And so that's actually been great because I've been paying down the mortgage, and I've actually been making money every month. Okay? So these lines are for January. So I bought the place in 2016, but it's not showing up in this little mini chart here until 2017. So January 2017, I had $188,000 in debt. This was my first major purchase, right? So I have this condo that I bought for $210,000, and I have debt of $188,000 in a mortgage. I had $15,000, 138 in my checking account in January, and I owned this condo in Los Angeles area. I also had no money left for investments at this point. Fast forward to January 2018, I added $38,250 in debt. You'll see why, okay? I had $12,659 in the checking account, and this debt is from my first duplex. So the condo kind of got me into real estate investing, and I bought a duplex in Cleveland, Ohio. Okay, I bought that duplex for $51,000. So if you see here, down payment on Tampa was $12,750. So that's money I had in. I got a 30-year mortgage. There were tenants already in there as well, and they're still in there to this day. Their current total rent is $1,175. We'll look at that more later. Okay. So also zero investments because my investments were going into the properties. Then January 2019. I added another $85,000 in debt, okay? In my checking account was $14,200, and this debt is primarily paying for, what happened was I got a HELOC on the condo, and I started using that money to buy more duplexes. So I bought duplex 2, 3, and 4 in Cleveland as well, okay? So that left me with zero. Also, in February of 2019, I started investing in American Airlines stock because I thought it was a good buy. And I average share cost that down. So what that means is my first purchase was at like $35, which if you look at the stock now, it's really high. And as it went down to 20, I continued to buy. And then when we had the crazy crash with COVID, I was buying a bunch at like $10. So I got my average cost down to about $16. And then over the year, I had accumulated quite a bit of shares. And then I sold it all at $21. That gave me the starting point for my dividend investing. Okay, so even though American Airlines does pay a dividend, it's very small. I took that money and I mostly invested in VYM. Okay, so it's a Vanguard high yield dividend. I like that because it's instant diversification because they have over 400 holdings. All right, so then in the beginning of, oh, this is actually now, sorry. Okay, so now, I should just put that here. Right now, my total debt, so my 2 mortgages and my HELOC, they add up to $217,000. What I have currently right now in the bank is $1,261. And I have 5 total properties, the 4 duplexes in Cleveland, plus 1 condo in the Los Angeles area, plus technically 1 still in Turkey. And my current investments are $47,000. Now that's a huge jump, obviously. What happened? Well, remember that high savings rate? I was using it to pay off debt, and then I slowed that down, and I started using it to invest. Especially when the stock market crashed, I was just buying things like crazy, okay? So I invested with my American Airlines shares cashed out, which was about 18,000, I think, plus just adding more and more money. All of a sudden, within a year or something, I was up to 40,000 invested, and then this is my increase due to the just stock increases the last few days. Okay, so that's where I'm at now. If you go over here, so my financial independence budget that I'm shooting for, my goals are to have $4,000 a month in rental income. Now that's not total income, that's cash flow. Okay, so I'll go into that more later, but that is $4,000 after all my expenses. Okay, right now I have $1,539 in cash flow coming in after all my expenses. And that is assuming reserves of 30,000 rotating or 98,000 full. Okay, what that means is if I have money set aside for major expenses, then I can count, this current number as is. However, I'm putting away money to build up those reserves right now. So technically, I'm not actually counting that as income at the moment, but I don't need it, so that's fine. Just to give you a little idea, I had to replace a roof. That's $9,000. I had to do some basement work at one of my properties. That was another $10,000. So some of these things I bought in bad condition, and I'll get all into that in another video as well, my ups and downs with that. But just so you know, I'm spending a lot right now on all that stuff. But eventually that'll calm down, and then I'll be able to build up my reserves. All right, I have a couple vacancies and one tenant not paying. But if I take care of all those problems after expenses, that'll actually be another $1,900. So that's a quick $1,900 I should be able to get in the next 2 months at least, maybe 3, depending with all the COVID things and whatnot's going on. If I pay off all my debt, okay, then that will add another 2,263 to this number. So as you can see, getting to 4,000 should be relatively easy, but it's going to take time. This is quick. This will take 10 to 15 years. All right. If I invest $1,000 a month in my dividend stocks, I will reach my goal in 10 years. Okay. So if I'm able to put $1,000 a month into dividend stocks, I will be able to get to the point where in 10 years I am receiving $1,000 a month in dividends. If saving $1,000 a month for rental reserves, I will reach my goal 1, which is 30,000, after 30 months, and goal 2 after 8 years. Okay, paying off debt in full will take 16 years. If I refinance, it will take 13 years, which I'm in the process of right now. Hopefully, it'll go through. And I have this random 30-year SBA loan, which is $30 to $5 a month for 30 years, and I'm just gonna leave that. It's $35. It's low interest rate. Okay, so that's my goal. This is my current situation. My next video, I'm going to go over all my dividend holdings, all my stock holdings. I'm also going to make a video about my different properties and all the ups and downs and going into the financials there. And I'm going to continue to update you on my journey on those 2 goals of the $4,000 in rent and the $1,000 in dividends, and what I'm doing each week and week, month. But anyways, what's changing. So this has already been long enough. Thanks for watching. If you want to follow along with my journey, please subscribe, and you'll get basically more information on my dividend stocks and my housing holdings next. Those are the next 2 videos I make. So go ahead, and if you like this video, that helps with the algorithm, apparently. That's what all the YouTubers say. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and stay safe.